Silly Lance. Silly little Caucasian Lance thinks he can play with samurai swords.
Ooh, I love samurai swords.
Do you know what that's from?
It would probably be from Kill Bill, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. Oh my God.
Yeah, look out. What? I think she was the shorter hair one, or maybe she has a looks like it's like she
Oh,
has like
okay.
a
Oh,
oh
she was
shit.
the handmaiden. She was the Dothraki handmaiden. She wasn't a sister. Oh my God, Lance. Did you even watch the show?
I did.
Or are you just tucking out of your blowhole like always?
Yeah, you know how I do.
I'm gonna go refill my wine now that I have to record by myself with you.
I got two fucking cans of White Claw ready to go.
You're such a
I was
basic
like,
bitch.
mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll be right back.
The guy that played the main
The dad.
elf,
Oh, what about him?
he's been in a lot of movies. He's in Dark Crystal, Lords of the Ring, Narnia. He was the actual little dwarf on the Ice Queen's sleigh.
I haven't seen that. I guess I should have told you that
Narnia?
before you started talking about it.
Go down that path. Well, he's
Yeah,
also in Superman 2. Man, he's done a lot of things.
a lot of things that I haven't seen. Um, okay, well, party. This is Slashers, your favorite horror podcast about your favorite horror media. I am your host, Mikey, today, and with me is Lance in my pants.
What?
Unfortunately, Aid is under the weather, so she is sitting this one out. So we hope you feel better. I think that's what you're supposed to say when someone's sick, but
I tell her not don't die. She gets really mad about that.
um, you know, whatever, what, come what may is what I say.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
we are in Don't Open Till Christmas December, where we review new-ish movies that we haven't
Ooh.
seen, and we review it as a first-time watch. Today, we have a new and exciting film coming to you, but before we get into that, I actually just wanted to mention, I know you mentioned that you saw Letters to Satan Claus. Is
Yes.
there anything else you've seen this week? Any updates? Any fresh off the press news you've heard about?
Hmm. I haven't yet. No, I mean, I think the letters was pretty much. I've been trying to find a place to download uh Santa Isn't Real. That one that's also from X, Y, and Z, I
Mm-hmm.
think.
Yeah.
Uh, but I haven't been able to find that. So I've been trying to get that. I know think somebody in the chat said you can rent it on I think Amazon Prime or the Prime. So yeah, that I other than those couple right there, that's been the other one I was trying to get before the end of the season type deal. And
Yeah. Well, I will say that we mentioned it in our Patreon episode, and I wish other people were here to talk to about it. Actually, it was just Aid who's missing, so never mind, I don't wish it. I told y'all, and I went to go to the movie theaters to see Lords of Misrule.
oh, how was that?
It was good. Do you remember the trailer?
Yeah. It was the one where the kind of the woods have like the mystery kind of like sorcerer of some sort or witch or demon, maybe. I think it was more of a demon.
Yes, roundabout. Yeah, so that was actually really good. I liked it. It wasn't like amazing, outstanding. Like I think I gave it a 3.5 star. The guy that I was
Mm,
with is a little more critical of movies, and he gave it 3 stars. So that was pretty good.
okay.
It's folk horror, and for some reason I feel like they don't do folk horror that well. And it kind of like what it made me think of is this is what I think uh that they wanted Antlers to be, but it did
Okay.
not. Because I don't know if you've seen Antlers.
No, but it's like I mean, it feels like everything kind of falls short towards that idea of like the village. Like
Yeah, Antlers was not great. Um,
mm.
but Lords of Mystery was really good. Actually, where did it take place? Let's see.
Is it in America or is it
No,
because
it's
it
not in
seemed like everybody
America.
was it was Europeanish kind of.
Yeah. Um,
Like in
England, I
Ireland?
guess. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
well, because I think on IMDb it says both Ireland and London in terms of like, or England in terms of like where they filmed. But I think it was because they didn't have Irish accents. But it was
Right.
really good. I recommend that one. It was a really good take on folklore, monsters in the woods, like things like that. So my only complaint about it was a little long. It wasn't terribly long. I think it was like an hour and 45 minutes, but I saw it
Mhm.
at 10 p.m. because it was the last day before it left theater and that was the only showtime. And I watched it and I was a tired bitch. And I was like, this is good. I know this is good, but I'm very tired. So let's because
Oh,
it's very I guess you could say slow burn-ish, but
okay.
it's not boring, but it's just for 10 p.m. already kind of tired. Kind of want to speed things up.
Was it a period piece or was it actually like in present day?
It was modern times.
Okay, because I couldn't really kind of tell because little old villages like that kind of give off like kind of period kind of vibe regardless. But then it's like you
Oh no,
have people like
definitely.
so.
Yeah, I watch movies that are supposed to be modern, but they just take place in a small village in England, and I'm like, oh, what what decade was this filmed in?
They're still churning butter. You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah. Oh, some people just live like that. Oops.
Yeah. Why?
But speaking of small villages, today we
Mm.
are reviewing the Norwegian film There's Something in the Barn,
Mm-mm-mm.
released this month. I think it was December 8th. I don't know, I'm not looking it up.
I think it
Um,
was it was already released in uh
Norway.
Norway or Europe, I guess. And
Yeah,
but
it
it just came
released
out for
earlier.
us. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see what
I think it was in
September.
some theaters, but I don't think it was in many theaters. And if it was kind of like the whole Terrifier thing and the Lords of Misrule thing, where it was just like a couple weekends and that was it.
Yeah.
But this movie is about an American family that moves from California to Norway. I was going to ask you, as
Mm,
a man of a distinguished age, do you
yes.
have any recollections of being forced to travel during Christmas as a wee lad?
Well, back in my day, we used to love going by horse and buggy
Oh my
from point A to
goodness.
point B. No, no. I think one of my worst going from point A to point B type scenarios was I think when I was little and we were going, we lived in San Diego and we were going up to LA, and that usually is about like a 2 hour drive
Hmm.
if you're in normal situation. But in this situation, legitimately, it was like 8 hours
Ooh.
stuck on the highway, like in like stop and go traffic. Like, I mean, you're talking about like 8 lanes of cars,
Ugh.
all like a parking lot. Like it was like the worst thing in the world. I remember like joking with my dad saying like I could literally skateboard there faster than the car ride that was there. And I remember because I had like my Ninja Turtles air blimp because I just got it from like Christmas, and we were going up there to meet up with my uncle's wife's family. They're all
Your
Mexican.
aunt.
Yeah, 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 my aunts. but like, but it was so funny. And then I think by the time we got up there, they literally had like some cow hanging from upside down
Oh my
in
God.
the backyard. You know what I mean? Before they were gonna put it into one of those underground kind of fire pits.
Yeah.
And I remember just them having a video of them in trucks hunting down these cows and like shooting them, and they're like watching this video of themselves doing this. And I remember thinking to myself, what is going on here? Like,
Ooh.
why? And then one of them made me eat like some kind of organ from the cow, and like I was like, oh, what is this? Like, and then they told me, oh, it's da 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 da. I'm like, spit it out. Like I'm like,
Yeah, Mexicans don't waste anything. I always
no,
hear
no,
stories on the holidays about how my grandma used to make brains. They would eat the eyeballs, tongue, of course, his lengua, um, everything. I
yeah.
mean, I guess it's better than throwing it away. How old were you when that happened?
I think I was like probably 10.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, but it was crazy, and it was cool though. I mean, like it was family, which was nice, and it was like meeting my other side of my family, being Puerto Rican, and then meeting Mexican part of my family. So it was like, all right, we do little things a little bit different, but not really. It's all the same. But the traffic thing was, it sucked. I was like, why are we doing this? Why are we going here? Like this is because you stay at home, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Well, you mean you like take a fourth of your day just getting there?
Oh my god,
Half if you talk about coming
eight
back.
hours. Good lord. I mean, and like it should be there in 2 hours. It was hard math no matter which way you did it, trying to get there. So, but it was fun, I guess, then.
Yeah. I mean, I have a really well, I had a big family when I was young. Now that it's just me, Adam, and Olivia, it's kind of a small family, but we're actually
Mm.
traveling this Christmas. We're going to a little beach city that's like 2 hours away to go visit my dad for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
I haven't seen him in a while, so it's like, ah, we'll go spend Christmas over here. And Olivia loves going over there because she has a couple of grandpas, and so the my dad is distinguished by being beach grandpa because he lives near the beach.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean,
But that'll be fun. This movie, There's Something in the Woods from 2023. It was, oh, I don't mean there's something in the woods. There's something in the barn.
yeah, I was like, are we talking about someone else?
Excuse me. There's something in the
Just edit it.
barn. Yeah, the magic of editing. I'm probably not going to say these names correctly because I believe, are Norwegian, but it was directed by Magnus Martins.
Magnus.
Yes. He has directed Banshee, which is a really good show that I enjoy.
Mm.
Looks like he directed, and these are just 2 episodes each. He directed 2 episodes of Fear of the Walking Dead.
Oh, that's cool.
And as far, I mean, it looks like it's all shows. I don't see anything,
So this is his first feature?
maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, actually, because everything says something in the barn. He's the director. There's something
Yeah.
called Red Notice. I guess it's a movie, but it looks like everything else is a series except for a movie called Jackpot from 2011, Snab Grabber from
That
2007.
sounds awkward.
Yeah. But yeah, so he does a lot of TV stuff, but that's cool. He did a pretty good job on this one. It was written by, okay, Alexander Kirkwood Brown and Josh Epstein, starring
Okay.
Martin Starr, Amrita Acharya, and Kiran Shah. So everybody mentions Martin Starr from somewhere, I guess. I guess he's known from
Spider-Man.
Freaks and Geeks, Silicon Valley, Party Down. Is he in Spider-Man?
Yeah, he was one of the teachers in one of the newer ones. I think he was in all three of them. Actually, even one of the Europe one, he was one of the teachers that was supposed to be watching, like Peter Parker and all of them. The
Hmm.
guy with the glasses. I mean, he still has glasses on in this one.
Yeah. Um, I guess. I feel like they wanted us to really like him, and he was the worst for me.
Oh yeah, yeah. The porridge scene by itself was just like, are you kidding me, dude?
He was an idiot. Um, but anyways, he plays the dad, everybody. So there's a dad, a stepmom, a teenage daughter, and then a boy. And the boy is maybe like 13-ish. And the boy is actually the stepmom and the guy's son. The stepmom's only really the stepmom to the teenage daughter. There's a
Really?
lot
I thought it
of,
was for both of them.
well, the boy calls her mom.
Yeah, they both do it here and there. Like I think it's the because remember he goes when he was in the bed, he goes, "Oh, my children," and she goes, "Oh, that's right. I'm just the evil stepmom."
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I was a little confused at that. I know definitely she was a stepmom to the teenage daughter.
Yeah,
Because I never heard her call her mom until like the end when they became all lovey-dovey.
buddy,
Um,
buddies and
yeah.
arms.
Yeah. Actually, I was gonna ask you, when you went on your trip to Europe, how close were you to
Hmm.
Norway?
Oh, not really close at all. To be honest with you, I mean, uh, Greece was pretty much where we were most of the time. So
Oh, it's like the
this
same
is the
place.
yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, sure.
I
It's
guess.
close enough if you say so.
I was just wondering because it seems like such a pretty place to be. I actually know someone from Norway, and it's someone that I work with, and so sometimes people still make fun of me because it was one of those things where I was like half paying attention, and I'm not the smartest person God's created.
That's why we're
Um,
perfect together when we do our own stuff because
mhm.
it takes both
Yeah,
of us to get the whole thing out.
yeah. I accidentally, because someone mentioned my friend being Norwegian, and I was like, I forgot how it got mentioned, but I basically cited her home country as Norwegia. It's Norway.
Norwegia?
It's Norway.
Uh,
That is the correct pronunciation is Norway.
mm.
But yeah, I thought that was really funny because also like sometimes I troll people and will do that stuff on purpose, but whenever I actually do it on accident, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna admit that I did that on accident.
I never admit. I think if there's anything that I try to do like as a Trump type person, it's like nope, that's exactly what I meant.
As a Trump type person, you're a Trump
Well,
type
like
person.
I'm not, but you know what I mean? Like how he loves to like just
Oh,
deny
yeah.
everything. Like regardless. Be like,
Stick to your
I literally
guns no
have
matter what's being
yeah,
presented to you.
yeah. There's total facts you're wrong. Nope, you're absolutely wrong too. It's like
Oh, I know, but this movie is on Shutter, right?
no,
No, we had to rent this movie. Yeah, this movie is on demand. I rented it off of YouTube. That's why I was confused. I was like, wait, what did I watch it
mm.
on again? It's 4.99, but you know, doing new movies, I kind of anticipated that we were gonna have to do some purchases. But yeah, if you want to watch it, it's available on demand. That'll probably come out on some streaming service within the next year or so. But
Mm.
there's something in the barn. Starts off with the family moving to Norway, and it really like I was gonna open up the show saying this is gonna be a spoiler-free review because there's not really much to spoil. It's a very simple premise of a family going
Just
into moving.
straightforward.
Yeah, they're moving into a house and they're being terrorized by
They
uh,
say elf or
elves,
yeah, but
a
I
barn elf.
they look like gnomes to me, to be
They look
honest with you.
like gnomes, but I mean, I guess
Yeah,
elf is more Christmassy, but they look like lawn gnomes.
yeah, like
This is very much like that Goosebumps episode. I think it's called Attack of the Lawn Gnomes. Or the Goosebumps book, if you read the book. That's my favorite story of the Goosebumps series. So,
so it's very nostalgic for you, basically.
ooh, yes. But a plus for horrors, this movie is already out in Norway and it actually has been opening up to pretty good critic reviews. I believe it was something like where was it? 78% of 23 critics reviews are positive with an average rating of 6.1 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good for a horror movie.
Yeah, and it was very family esque. I mean, in general, like I mean, it was kind of like you know what it almost reminded me of a little bit was like a National Lampoon type movie, but without like all the nudity and stuff like that. Like it's just kind of like the family going somewhere where they don't fit in type of vibe, and like they're trying their
Mm,
best, but like they always keep screwing up kind of deal. That was
yeah.
kind of like that kind of vibe to it.
Yeah, it is. I feel like one of the big themes of this movie. Let me let my cat out real quick. She made a really weird
Yeah,
noise.
I was like, what is that?
Okay. So there is kind of like a big theme of this movie with family dynamics because you basically have the stupid as fuck dad, the stepchildren, and the stepmom. And it's not like the typical, like, oh, my stepmom's such a bitch, yada, yada, yada. The teenage girl thinks that, but really the stepmom is like probably the best character in the movie. She's actually like trying to be a parent more than the dad is. And I'm like,
Oh yeah.
first of all, this girl's way too pretty to be with you. Second of all, like, why aren't you
I,
doing anything?
we were all thinking it. Let's be honest. It was one of those moments where, like, I remember like this, going, "You must be really funny or good in bed, or have money. Like, it has to be
He's got that
something in
huge
this."
dick.
Yeah, like it's
Well,
like,
like,
come
because
on.
he's not ugly, but like he just kept being so stupid
Mm,
and like so like nonchalant and like I don't even mean stupid in terms of like he doesn't know anything, but just like socially unaware of everything. And I think they tried to do that in for like a comedy sense, but it didn't work for me.
yeah.
The comedy really came from the neighbors.
The
Um,
cop.
the cop and then the little boy. So they have a neighbor that like is kind of educating the little boy on like Norway, and he's the one that introduces the idea of the barn elf, and he talks
Yeah.
about like what to feed him and stuff, and he's like, "Do you know what porridge is?" And he's like, "No," and he explains it, and little boy's like, "Oh yeah, yeah." He's like, "Do you know what porridge is?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, yeah, because I just told you." So there's a lot of lines like that that are funny. I think
Yeah.
they thought the dad was going to be funny, but really I was just kind of like,
I,
whatever.
I again, I think he just did a really poor Griswold. You know what I mean? Like from National Lampoon. I think it was just kind of like, oh, this guy could be the next, I forget the guy's name actually from
Chevy Chase.
yeah, Chevy Chase, but like I mean Griswold, I know his last name is Griswold, you know what I mean? One of those type deals, but it's like I forget what his actual first name is. But it's kind of one of those things where it's like kind of like, oh, okay. They're in like literally the first scene is the part with the moose,
Oh
and then he
yeah,
gets out, and then there's a real moose there, and you're like, don't go into the moose. Like, are you insane? Like,
I know. Yeah, it was, and actually Adam and I talked about this recently. Is this slapstick comedy?
I mean, it could have been, or it was trying to be somewhat, because I mean, with the moose scene where it starts chasing him and then hits the car, I mean, it could have been something crazy, you know what I mean, where the moose actually hits him or knocks him
Well,
over, or
yeah, so
so.
I think you're thinking of physical comedy. So this is why we discussed this, because I was like, I'm not a fan of physical comedy. I thought slapstick comedy was physical comedy. Slapstick
Yeah, same.
comedy is comedy that's sprung from awkward situations.
Mm,
And actually, the definition is a style
that's
of
crazy.
humor involving exaggerated physical activity that exceeds the boundaries of normal physical comedy. Um, actually, maybe I'm
Yeah, I
wrong.
was gonna say that definitely sounds like it's actual physical comedy.
Okay, well then what was, I don't know. Whatever, it's not important. So yeah, so
Yeah,
I guess
because
I'm not a fan of physical comedy. I mean, of a slapstick comedy.
uh, yeah.
Um, but anyways, so the dad, whatever. Um, the teenage girl did a really good job being an annoying teenage cunt because I didn't like her until the end when she actually starts turning around. But she was actually a really good actress. She almost had a face like Lulu Wilson, is that her name?
Is it? Oh yeah, you know what? Kind of,
From
yeah,
Becky. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
She kind of has a similar, like those huge eyes, like perfectly circular
yeah.
eyes, very like dough faced. Um, and I don't mean like bakery dough. I mean like of deer. Um, I realize I combined two terms together. One was a positive, one was a negative. I'm drinking, everybody, calm down.
It's like just like last episode. He's not racist, and he's not saying
Yeah,
anything bad about this poor girl's face.
yeah, figure it out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what did you think of the movie?
I mean, it was kind of cool. I think in the beginning it was kind of a slow burn because it was like cool. They're trying to get to know the town and the neighbors or something like that. And I thought the cop was probably one of the best.
I know I
I
liked
wish there was
her.
I wish there was more of her.
Yeah,
And I think her death was sadly underdone. Like I felt like she could have gone out so much cooler
yeah.
than the way she did. So I don't want to ruin that for anybody, but at the same time, it's spoiler. um, but like yeah, like because it would have been funnier if like I don't know, because remember she was going on about how pets are fucking evil. It would have been funny if they had like a pet like bear or a pet like
Yeah.
fox or something like that. Uh, like yeah, it was just kind of a slow burn, and then they had the party thing where they invited all the neighbors and they didn't know they were going to come, but like the gnome or elf was okay with them setting up the party and didn't trash it before the party happened. Seemed weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so. Essentially, with these gnomes, there's a couple of rules, of course. They
Mm.
don't like bright lights, they don't like change. And was it noise? What was the other one? There was like three
Yeah,
rules.
yeah, like they don't like artificial light and noise. I guess it would be just noise, but I mean
Yeah.
you're almost like your gremlins type of rules.
Yeah. And
Don't feed them.
so the elf kind of destroyed the Christmas decorations in the house or outside of the house. They have this Christmas party. My thing is it was probably there's probably too many people. He knew that. I'm pretty sure they don't want to be seen. So
Right.
I did like the part where everybody shows up and everybody's just kind of like stiff and awkward. And the stepmom's like, how come no one's talking? And they're like, they just have to warm up. And then like they start drinking and then it turns into like a big old brouhaha.
Yeah, like the one big guy who like he's like I thought it was weird that he goes, you want me to be Santa? It's like he's like, yeah. I'm like, wait, how did that just come about? Like, and why would you want a stranger being Santa for your children?
It's Norway. It's the happiest place in the world. I was surprised that the elves were going to be that the elf was kind of like the good guy in the beginning, or not a good guy, but just like a docile creature. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be just like they move in, they start getting terrorized by elves, but the little boy, develops like a friendship with him and gives him cookies and stuff. Then, as the parents start changing stuff, decorating, that's when the elf starts becoming hostile. And I guess he does like some sort of elf scream that brings a bunch of other elves.
Yeah, the cry for elves. It was like I was like, well, at first when he was doing the scene where the sledgehammer against the barn, I
Yep.
thought that was like a bell sound, like he was calling for the other ones,
Hmm.
until you find out it's like a pretty awesome murder scene to the poor guy who was playing Santa.
I know.
And then it was like, you're like, oh, okay. And then I guess he gets knocked out by the lights when he decides to a person attacked him on their car, which I thought was kind of weird. Like at this point, he's like, fuck it, they know I exist. Let's go to town on them. And
Yeah.
then it was like they knock him down, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, you think you got me? And then it was like the cry for help, like that
Oh, I
was heard
know.
for.
It was also strange because there's this like the last quarter of the movie is like the showdown between the family and the elves fighting each other. And it I guess there's like some elves that are good.
Yeah, that's kind of what I got from it, because it was like but also at the same time it was like those are the elves that came to help you, so that you're obviously they're your boys, you know what I mean? Like like
Yeah, it
you had to
was,
know what they're
yeah.
gonna do.
And you
Like,
could have like called them back, I guess. But it was
yeah.
it was funny. And so before I get into that, this movie reminded me of Krampus in terms of like I think kids could probably watch this. It's rated R. I think there's some fucks, and I think I mean, really the only really the really violent part is the candy cane through the face, but you don't see it, but you see the aftermath.
Yeah.
And that was kind of gruesome, but it really is not that bad. And so Olivia was sitting next to me watching it because I was helping her with her homework. And as we know, I was in a rush to finish it. Um, and so we had a very teachable moment. One of the gnomes is playing with a gun
Oh yeah.
and he
Good
accidentally
lord.
shoots himself.
Yeah.
And
You're like, wait. And that's why you don't play with guns, sweetie.
exactly. That's what I did. I said, Olivia, what happened? She goes, I go, did he shoot himself in the face on accident? She was like, yeah. She was like, I turned around just in time so I didn't see it. And I was like, well, this is why it's very important why you never play with guns.
Love it. You're like, this is a teachable moment. Here,
It
sweetheart.
is. Hey, I took a gun safety course one time when I got my license to carry. Not that I carry,
Mm,
but I have a license. And the instructor was like, the best way to handle firearms around children is to tell them the truth. Like, this is
yeah.
what it is, this is what it does. Don't fucking touch it. He goes, most accidents happen whenever you try to like pretend that you don't have one, or like you basically just you try to hide it from them. It's like, no, like let them know what it does
Yeah.
and tell them that it never touch it.
Well, I mean, it takes away the curiosity of it.
Yeah,
A good portion of it, at least, anyways, where you were like, hey, I'm telling you, this is very dangerous. It can hurt you,
yeah.
like,
Well,
don't do that.
it's kind of like when your parent tells you, "I don't want you to hang out with that person. I have a bad feeling about them." But
Yeah.
in reality, it's because they know from their parents that they got caught, like, shooting up heroin in the back of the school. So, no, tell them this guy got caught shooting up heroin in the back of the school. That's why I don't want you to hang out with him. Then I'd be
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. I probably don't want to hang out with him either. Instead of being like, why not? Is he dark and dangerous? I'm gonna go figure it out.
Sounds like someone A would go for.
I was gonna say this is coming from personal experience, whatever. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, so there was a lot of social commentary when it comes to how Americans are,
Oh, yeah.
especially when it came from the cop, and I enjoyed it. I love making fun of Americans. I like making fun of everybody. No one's
Yeah.
immune.
Well,
Um,
the fact that they thought everybody who got shot in the face, that was like they all said the same thing exactly. We're not Americans. We don't carry guns and shoot people in the face. I'm like,
yeah,
what? Why the face? What did you guys watch that somebody got shot in the face every time you saw an American with a gun?
I mean, Florida.
Yeah.
That's all you have to say is Florida. America's Australia.
I would love to like stand up and say it's not a Florida thing, but
It is.
yeah,
It is.
some people
Sorry.
think Texas is crazy.
It is. It is.
Florida somehow beats everybody.
I was talking to someone about Texas because there's that new movie coming out. I don't know what it's called, but it's like a movie about California and Texas basically taking over the United States. Oh, I sent you the commercial or the trailer for it. It's like so it's called Civil War, I think. Um,
Oh, really?
but anyways, someone was like, "Yeah, this I know this movie's fake because California and Texas would never join forces." And someone was like, "Actually, isn't like Dallas blue?" And I was like, "The biggest 4, 5 cities in Texas are blue. It's everything else that makes us
Everything around
red.
it. Yeah.
It's the 9 hour drive across the state that makes it
Yeah.
red."
I think every
Um,
tour I've ever done, Texas gets its own tour.
yeah,
Like
it's
it's so
huge.
ginormous. Yeah.
Like there's countries in Europe that take 2 hours to get to, and I'm like, if I move 2 hours, I'm if I go two
Oh.
hours north, I'm in Austin. If I go 2 hours south, I'm in Laredo. If I do go 2 hours east, I'm like on the beach. If I go 2 hours west, I'm in hell.
I've been in El Paso before. Literally, we were in a hotel and someone got murdered while we were in that hotel.
Well, luckily El Paso's 9 hours away from me. So
Oh, right.
yeah, I'm
Good.
not
Good.
that close. But anyways, so Lance, please give me your
Mm.
thoughts and prayers about this movie.
I thought it was cool. I mean, I thought beautiful scenery. I mean, like I'm not really sure if they actually filmed it in Norway or not, but like if it wasn't, it was beautiful. It was like
It was really
very
pretty.
enchanting, very Christmas like. I mean, there's nothing about it that didn't scream like winter wonderland, you know.
Hmm.
They didn't really dive into the town as much as I was kind of hoping they would do. I mean, they had that one moment when they went down to the town, but other than that, and then another time is basically they're all together in the barn, you know, and then
Yeah.
random people you don't even know if they even met, or if it was the same people in that little coffee store. I guess they were in. I'm not even sure what it was actually. Now that I think about it,
Where the little boy met the neighbor for the first time and he learned about the barn
yeah,
elf.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like so, like I'm not even sure that scenario, and then it was like those are really cool. I mean, the plot was kind of fun. I mean, I think the part where the gnome slash elves get drunk in their house
Oh, that was fun.
as they're
It was very parallel to the party that they had.
yeah yeah exactly, and it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Gremlins kind of deal where like you know at one point where the Gremlins are in the bar, you know, and they're all drinking and because they just basically stop doing whatever they're normally doing just to have fun and drink and have fun. It's kind of
Yeah.
what you got that scene. It was cool. Like it was all around entertaining. I thought the moonshine that guy gave her that actually has the cross and bones on it,
Oh, I know.
where the daughter like got wasted and like I mean
She
the
throws up
fact
on
that
the elf.
yeah, I was like that's so horrible. And he's like looking right up into it, you know. It's like, but I mean, and then they actually make bombs out of it, which is insane.
Hmm.
The things you're putting
The
that in your body.
ornaments.
Yeah, like which kind of reminded me of the mean one. We were talking about that
Yeah.
before with the cool grenade bombs
Yeah.
from ornaments. But yeah, I thought it was entertaining. It was fun. Obviously, a little bit of like plot hole things. Like I don't know where the tunnel goes down to another wintry village type deal where they all live. I didn't really understand that part of it. Um, I'm surprised they didn't just kill the two when they capture the daughter and the mom at one point. Because I mean, they were so easily able to wanted to bite her initially, stabbed her in the leg.
Yeah.
You know, like we're basically trying to murder them at one point, but at another point they're like, "Well, we'll just take him down below
Yeah.
and tie him to a stake."
I feel like if I don't know. It's strange because it struggles between going from family friendly Krampus, like a romp in the
Mm,
Norwegian forest, but I think this movie would benefit from actually going dark, and
yeah,
being more sinister, if you will. But it didn't. It plays it safe, and there were some weird choices, like the neighbor going to find other elves that I guess were just like cool with people and helping
yeah. After he got
out.
shot, like
Yeah. Um, I don't know. Aid's not here, but she did give us her thoughts and prayers on it. She
Mm.
essentially thought it was super fun and cute. She actually cared for the characters, which for Aid to care about people, oh my. Um,
Seriously, usually it's
she
like pretty much it's downhill if she doesn't like that. It
well,
didn't.
there were no blondes in the film. Well, and the one that was the cop, and she died. Um,
So she would have been happy.
she made special note that the elf's little tummy rumble was cute. Um,
Oh,
and actually, she said that when the mom gets the wine key in her leg and the blood sprays out, that was a hell yeah moment for her. This movie did do a really good job using blood. Like when the elves get ran over by the 18-wheeler and you see all the blood splatter.
oh, even the cop, because remember the cop's the
Yeah.
one that gets run over and it's like saws blood right into their face.
Yeah. Like I really like because they don't need to go heavy on the gore, but I like that they did use the blood that they used and it looked good. My problem with
Yeah,
CGI blood lately.
I've seen a
Um,
lot.
and then one of Aid's notes is that, it was kind of twisted, like in the way that they're in this big house and they're being brutalized by the elves, but like every family member's by themselves in a different room and you can like hear each other. No one essentially can help each other. And I'm like, maybe that's kind of where I'm like wanting more. Like, give me some
Yeah.
stakes. Let me know that this family's actually in danger. Um,
Well, once
but
you know one of the family members don't die, you know that like it's gonna be a happy ending.
yeah,
Like something, you know what I mean? They either move away or like, you know what I mean? Some resolve happens kind of deal,
yeah,
which because it would have been
yeah.
cool if they would have knifed off somebody. Even if they, like, I honestly thought they were gonna take out the stepmom because at least you keep your core family together, and the stepmom's always never really been kind of like,
I don't know. I saw them kind of preparing her to be like the final girl, which she kind of was.
oh, she was tougher than everybody, her and the daughter, honestly, because the two
Yeah,
sons, the father and the boy, like jump out of there, even with the good gnome who ends up
yeah,
turning sides. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
they're like,
Leave it
oh,
to
we're
the
gonna blow up
women.
things. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really liked the scene where they were crying and kind of like, she's like, "I'll never replace your mother" or something, and
Oh,
she
the
was
heart to
like,
heart.
"Yeah," she's like, "You kind of already did. That's why I'm so mean to you." And I was like,
Yeah, I mean,
It was a good scene."
yeah. I mean, and also I actually kind of thought it was kind of cool. Another family moment was when they were kind of like, we've had worse, Christmases. Like they were somehow trying to
Oh,
relate that the one time they were in the airport and they all had food poisoning, and basically they were like changing out, going from the toilet, so nobody else had a chance to go, to the toilet
yeah,
because they were constantly in there. And then he was like, I threw up in your hair twice. I'm like,
gross.
yeah, I was like, she must really love you, dude, because
Yeah,
like, good
because you're not
lord.
really showing anything.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it must be a big penis.
Oh, I know. And really, I think I struggle between giving this movie like a 2.5 or a 3 out of 5. And
Mm.
I think Stepmom alone makes you want to give it a 3.
I think the cop was there. I just lately it's been one of those movies where we've been watching where it just seems like if they would have just ate into a little bit more of certain characters, like obviously if you're watching the film back, you're saying the cop's awesome.
Yeah.
Why do we not have more with
Yeah.
her? Uh the daughter stepmom scenes are pretty cool. Obviously the son kind of getting along with the gnome and slash elf. It makes sense. It's kind of a normalcy. Usually it's the youngest child who ends up relating
Yeah.
to whatever creature it is in the movie, kind of deal. And I think they did a good job with that for most part. The dad was just annoying as fuck in a good amount of places because it was like when he's eating the porridge and like
Oh
the
my
son's like,
God.
dude, what are you doing, bro?
I know.
like he's like, I'm hungry. Yeah, you mean that jelly stuff you try to force out our throat?
Oh, the
Like,
fish.
yeah. Which
That
I don't
was,
even know if that's an actual Norwegian thing, so I
it
feel bad at
is. As soon
is
as he
it
pulled it up, I was like, don't try to make that. It's like
uh,
salted fish or something. I forgot what it's called. I saw it on some channel where they were review where they had to like, oh, it was yes.
I saw
It
it
was
on
like
Gordon Ramsay where there was one, but he was like, I think in Alaska, and it was like the same
no.
idea, like it's salted fish, and it's like forever, like in a thing. They almost smoke it or something
Yeah.
like that.
And it's
but it's
super
rotten,
old.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's like, and like this guy's like, this old man's like sucking it off, and you're like, oh my god.
I know. There actually I remember now because it was like a TikTok and this woman
Mm.
bought it for her and her family to do like a challenge. It was like her and her two kids and the dad, and they were like throwing up in their mouths. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's what that is. Um,
Ugh.
but for Aiden's final thoughts, she loved it. She said she liked the happy little ending. It's a great gateway horror flick for young ones, even if there is F-bombs. Um, she said she'd sit it next on the shelf next to Gremlins or Krampus. I
I can see
agree
that.
with the tone and like the age range. I don't think I would watch this again next year. Maybe in 2 or 3 years,
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I wouldn't have
it
a
definitely
drive to
had that.
watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to try to get somebody else into kind of movies like this, it would be a perfect kind of like you said, gateway. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Kind of movie. It's like, and I would sit through it again with somebody else for their first time watching it. You know, maybe.
yeah.
But I mean, did Olivia like it actually? I mean, speaking that she was kind of near you, did
I
she
think it may have
like
been a
care?
little too scary for her
Okay.
because I think the elves, well, mainly like the elder elf that came, the one that was wearing all black.
Oh, later on, yeah, yeah, a little intense.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit too much for her because she was not paying attention. She was like looking at her homework, and I could see like the corner of her eyes looking up. So
So basically, you just made her want to do her homework better.
yeah, like look, that's what happens when you don't do your homework.
You're like, see, gun lesson, and you're
Yeah.
doing your homework.
Oh, it's a
I feel like,
win-win.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it was good though. Like, I mean, again, like you said, I mean, it was cool because it hit all the marks for entertainment for the time being. You know, like
Yeah.
it just the weird uh like I guess a sled scene where they're like got a sled chase
Oh,
scene.
yeah. The
Yeah,
CGI for that was
yeah. I
bad.
was like, that was the one spot I was kind of like, wow, you had all this money for all this other stuff, then this
It's
is
like,
this weird.
did you run that past the editor? Did
Yeah,
he see that?
like this is so cheesy. And then with him throwing the saw blades, I was like,
Oh, it was wasn't it like snowflakes?
no, it was actual like
But they were like
actual.
shaped in this shape of snowflakes, weren't they, or something? I don't know. It looked like
Oh yeah,
snowflakes.
I think that's what I thought initially, but then you realize that literally they went to the barn. I think this barn has like all the weapons. Just get the barn away from everything.
Yeah, just burn it down.
Yeah, which did happen actually.
Yeah. Um, but overall thoughts. What would you rate it?
I think 3.25, just because
That's not a rating.
3.25 it is now.
3.25. You know what? I quit.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah. No, I mean it was about 3 out of 5, honestly, just because it's a little better than average. I think the blood scenes were pretty cool in certain ways. I did like the way they kind of like did misdirection kind of blood murder type scenes, like where let's just let you use your imagination. It's never a really bad scene, and that's kind of cool because then it kind of opens it up for the public, kind
yeah.
of seeing it in the gateway type of movie.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, again, all the acting was pretty decent. I mean, the kid was good. The daughter was good. The mom and the dad. I mean, even though but I mean, the dad was playing the perfect role. I mean, so technically, he did a great job. If that was the way the character was supposed to be, you know what I mean, in the sense of annoying.
I refuse to acknowledge that.
Yeah, I know, I know. But what about you? Are you pretty much sticking with your three?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna keep it at a 3. I would give it a 2.5 if it wasn't for the good moments were good.
Yeah.
There was like emotionally strong moments that connected me to it, which were good enough to raise it a half star. So yeah, I think a 3 out of 5 is probably where I'll land this on Letterbox.
Mm.
Um, One thing I did want to do just for funsies, we've
Hmm.
reviewed 3 movies so far this month, and I wanted to basically see how it ranks against both of them. So actually, do you want to do what we reviewed, or do you want to do all the movies we've seen, the Christmas movies this month?
We did the Christmas movies. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, have it kind of in a hierarchy.
So name the Christmas movies you've seen so far this month, and then rank it.
Ooh, okay.
It's your idea.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like,
Hmm.
Letters to Santa or Satan, Letters to Satan. I think is very basically the same as this kind of deal. So
Yeah.
I would put that at 5. We're doing like 5 of the movies kind of
Yeah.
day. That I would say there's something in the barn would be probably like a 4. I think the mean one would probably be a 3. Sacrifice game would definitely be a 2, and then one would be do we have one? Maybe no. I guess not.
Wait,
I
so
can't
was
remember.
is the lower number the better one or is the lower number the bad one?
The bad one. The bad one. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh wow, so you really
Yeah.
didn't like Sacrifice Game.
Well, no, 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 no. I mean, five is the low, and one would be the top.
Oh my
So Sacred
goodness.
Games was
You
3.
know what? Forget it. It's a bad idea.
No, but like, I mean, I think that's kind of. I mean, but it's cool though. It was kind of fun. I mean, I think those movies, in their own ways, had a certain thing going on with it. But they all kind of were lacking a little bit here and there. So it's
Yeah, there was nothing perfect this month that
yeah,
we've seen yet because you know, we liked Sacrifice Game, but I think all of us pretty much agree that the ending was just kind of like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah. It just fell off.
Yeah. But let me check my letterbox real quick and see what I've reviewed, what I've seen this month.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Technically, maybe I should put the there's something in the barn, because technically the whole movie stayed pretty solid
Hmm.
throughout, where the other movies didn't. If we're going in that kind of idea storyline
Yeah.
wise, it was the best out of that. Like where it kept along what it was supposed to be doing the whole time, you
Yeah.
know, and it followed through and everything. Even though obviously I felt like there was some missed opportunities again, but like honestly, like it went through pretty well. I
Yeah,
think
I think the only let's see, really the only Christmas movies I've seen that have been consistent in terms of quality throughout the whole film is The Mean One and Lords of
what about
Misrule. Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
not
that's
Christmas though. That's more Lords of Misrule is more like a I think it takes place like in a fall ceremony. So
mm.
it was
Yeah, I was
definitely
gonna ask
more
if it was really
fall.
Christmas or
It
not.
wasn't. But I think my favorites that we've seen so far are The Mean One and Black Friday. So
Black Friday was cool. Actually, I just saw Christmas Bloody Christmas. I actually thought that was good. You know what? I might actually put that on my top. I might actually have to put that as
I need
number
to
one.
rewatch that fucking movie because everybody keeps
Yeah.
jizzing their panties about it.
I actually, you know what? I'm gonna actually say it. I know I think Aiden Austin just did it for Frightmares
Yeah.
review wise. But I you know what? That was the other one I was trying to think. I was trying to think, what other Christmas movie did I see? That's but yeah, actually I as in enjoying it, I would say that would be the one. 2 would be Sacrifice Game, Mean One, it would be something in the barn, and then it would be Letters to Satan would be my top
Letters to
5.
Satan. It's just such a funny title.
Yeah,
Um,
it's so good too. And the costume for Satan was really good too. The actual
yeah.
makeup and stuff like that. So
Are we gonna do that for Patreon?
we should. I would do
Okay.
that.
Yeah,
I
because we
think
can't find there's something in we can't find Santa's Not Real. And
yeah, I
I
couldn't
don't honestly I don't know if I want to watch it. It's getting right now because I'm trying to rush in movies that I haven't seen that came out in 2023 for like a total
mm,
2023 review and also Christmas movies. And today I had an epiphany. I was like, I'm trying to cram all this stuff in that it feels like work. And
yeah.
that's when I know I need to stop.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I just need to watch what I want to fucking watch.
yeah. Well, I mean,
So
and I actually really want to watch it, but at the same time, it's like trying to find it right now. It's like it's on my streaming thing that I have, but it won't load up. Like, you mean they haven't loaded it up yet?
uh-huh.
I'm like, why is it hasn't loaded up? And I'm like, maybe they're having a hard time finding it.
They got sued.
Yeah,
Um
well, they're from Norway actually,
oh,
so
are they? Those
yeah, they
damn
really are.
criminals.
And
But yeah, cool. Well, I think that rounds off today's episode. It was just me and Lance. Hopefully, you guys love spending time with the boys.
yeah,
But next week we'll make sure we bring Aid some vitamin C, rub an egg on her forehead, and do all that curandero stuff to make sure she's good for next week. Next week, what are we doing next week?
Is it a new month?
Um,
It's actually a new month, isn't it?
is this the last Monday of the month? Let me
Yeah,
see.
this last Monday of December. I think we're doing the
Um,
corn. The corn,
the
children of the corn.
corn. Yeah,
All the
actually,
corn.
this is coming out on Christmas. So I think we're actually going to have the Christmas episode, which is going to be this one, Something in the
Mm,
Barn. And then also we're going to probably do an extra episode, which is our roundup, the 2023 roundup. Just a little for everybody. And then we'll have the
mm,
Patreon. And then next month we are going to be coming back at you with, is it corn or is it porn?
mm.
So I hope so. Why not both?
I mean,
Um,
I'm sure we could find it.
it's ribbed for everybody's pleasure.
Yes, it is.
Austin, you're so nasty. Anyways,
Oh, you called me in Austin.
I didn't call you Austin. I said, did I call you
Austin.
Austin?
Yeah, you did. I feel cheated on now.
Uh,
See?
I'll rewind the tapes and find out.
It was like that commercial.
Everybody's gonna find out.
Throw the red flag.
Well, if you want to find
Mm.
us on social media, you can follow us on Instagram at slasherspod, or you can follow me on Instagram at horror and a half shell. You can follow Lance. Oh my God, I'm not joking anymore. You can follow Lance at Zombie versus Hate, A at Pathologically ADE. You can also find us on Facebook. Our Facebook group is Mutant Goons from Beyond.
Yeah.
If you want to buy merchandise like t-shirts or coffee mugs, laptop covers, all that kind of stuff, you can find us on Redbubble at slasherspod.com. No, slasherspod.redbubble.com. If you want to support us monetarily and gain some special perks and bonuses, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/slasherspod, and we'll be updating those tiers in January. So hopefully we can see you there.
Yes.
Is there anything I'm missing, Lance? Do you need to announce anything?
I am doing a show for a food drive on the 28th here
Oh, this
in
is the anti-father one, right?
the anti-father one.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's for well, anti-father. I mean, I guess for single mothers out there. Yes. So I
Oh, okay,
guess
yeah. I just wasn't sure
yeah.
if it was that one. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But we are doing something like that for the community and everything like that. So we
Women
want to
and
definitely
children only, not the community. You're doing it for women and children.
well, we're showing they're the community. They're part of the community.
Oh, no, it's
Everybody.
fine. Yeah.
But yeah. So if you happen to be around town on the 28th, we do it at Will's Pub. It's gonna be really cool. It's called a corporate party. So you can dress up, have some fun, and get away from your family for Christmas.
Well, that sounds like a blast. Thank you, Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back with you next week. And until then, we're not going to talk to you before Christmas Eve. So we hope you have a good Christmas Eve. And then we'll come back to you on
Yes.
Christmas Day. That's our birthday present to you. Or no, whatever. Forget I said all that.
Edit, edit, edit.
Mikey, take it out. Anywho, with that said, goodbye and good die, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. I am so hungry.
Yeah, I had to eat before we got on. I was like, oh, burger time. Let's get some chips. I like traditional.
Burger and chips.
Yeah.
Do you mean chips? Do you mean French fries? Are you being European right now?
Oh no, I mean like Fritos.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's the last towel.
Mm.
Cool story, bro. No, stop.